This is the Afro Perspective Podcast, the home of over-opinionated young voices.
It's good to be back.
Yeah.
We've had a hiatus.
Yeah, the 2 week, 3 week hiatus.
I'm sure it's 4, but okay.
Nice.
Is that how you pronounce that word?
Yeah.
I've always wondered.
What have you been
Some
saying?
words I just pronounce in my head.
What do you say?
I just call hiatus.
We've had an hiatus.
We've had our haters. Yes, we have. Yes, hiatus is the way.
Oh my gosh. What episode are we on?
Who, actually?
Do you know what, actually?
Actually,
That's a good point.
we might be on episode 7, season 2. Or was it 8?
Episode 8.
I'm sure it's
Are you
8.
sure?
You know?
Yeah.
I can't even remember what 7.
Did you label the last one?
No.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's 8.
Yeah.
I think it's 7.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Afro Perspective Podcast. My name is Tinashe and my co-hosts are Anton and Charlene. So, wagwan.
There.
Happened.
What's happened? So what's been happening over the last 3 weeks?
A lot.
A
Passing
lot.
of DMX.
Okay, yeah.
Black
Passing
Rob.
of Black Rob.
Black Rob.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Obviously the the George Floyd case.
Yeah.
There has been the guy that got shot because the lady pulled out a gun instead of the taser. I can't remember the name, so
Yeah,
apologies. But yeah, there's been what else has happened? There's been a lot.
Let's not forget
Kirby did
I
an
knew it.
interview.
That's it. Yeah,
Kirby. A lot has happened.
Yeah, it's quite a bit. Yeah.
Kirby Part 2.
Part
That's what you call milking it for what it always got.
Have you seen it?
No, I didn't even bother watching it.
Fuck.
No, wasting my
I
time.
tried.
My time,
watching
We got-
it,
I
but
got-
it's
my time is getting more expensive as I get older.
You can't spend it on
I can't spend certain things. I can't spend it on. So I seen the clip and I was like, no, I'm bowing out at this point.
Okay then, so Miss Grant, what's going on?
So,
What is the first topic we shall be discussing today?
first topic we're discussing is George Floyd and Derek. How do you pronounce? Is it Chauvin?
I think sure.
I don't
Chauvin. Derek. That's enough. That's enough. That guy. So we're looking into the George Floyd and Derek timeline. So George Floyd died on May 25th, 2020. The Minneapolis police officer responded to a call shortly after 8 p.m. about a possible, this is a reason, counterfeit 20 bill that was used, so in a corner shop. And George was later identified as the person that the police officer laid on his neck for 9 minutes. He struggled and ended up in handcuffs and face down on the floor. Chauvin used his knee to pin George Floyd's neck to the ground for 9 minutes while bystanders stopped, shouted, and the girl filmed him whilst he was crying, saying he can't breathe multiple times, which sparked the whole Black Lives Matter movement of last year. So that happened on May the 25th. And the 26th, the police issued a statement saying that Floyd died after a medical incident, that he was he resisted and appeared to be in medical distress. Minutes later, bystander video is posted online. Police released another statement saying that the FBI would help investigate.
I remember that. I remember that part.
So it was Chauvin and 3 other police officers that was at the scene. One police officer was Thomas Lane Jr. And what was the police officer's name? Oh, I didn't even know his name. Anyway, the other 2 police officers were fired, and then the protest began. So.
Okay, so we brought it up to date now. So the trial was.
When did it start?
Now, how long was the trial to begin with? Because it was the lengthiest trial I've ever. I think it was longer than that. It's the most lengthiest trial I've ever known for something that at least appears very clear cut.
Very much.
But is it clear cut?
Well, I think we should get into this properly. So there's a few things I want to discuss. I want to discuss whether it was clear cut or not, whether Derek actually did have a fair trial, because there is a notion, there's an argument on social media to say that regardless of what you've seen, did he actually get a fair trial? Because the mob was there to, if he was not found guilty, things would have got torn all the way up. So they were always forced to. And then there is you need to look into what the charges actually mean. Because I've seen people saying, he's in for murder, he's going to go away for life. And it's not quite that simple. And then what happens next, and if there's any room to for him to fight the case. Because I don't think it's over yet. No, not a thing. Not by any short while. For starters, he's been found guilty of 3 charges. Have you got the charges out? Because I've got them.
I've got the charges.
And now I think you've got to wait 8 weeks for the sentencing.
That's the second. It's only just started.
I think you raised a very good point yesterday, and you said that the accountability has been taken.
So I made a point that yesterday was about accountability. It wasn't about the delivery of justice. So in essence, Derek Chauvin was held accountable for his actions
to a degree.
To a degree, yeah. So, i.e., the crime has been sort of assigned to the criminal.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Fair. Yeah.
And that is
that's part 1, though, isn't it?
Yeah. And that's according to the law.
Yeah. But
it's important to say according to the law.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
According to the optics, it's a completely different thing.
Oh, yeah.
He was convicted, and he is a murderer in a lot of people's eyes. But the law is a different thing. It's what you can prove in a court of law. So he was held accountable for it.
Okay.
Justice hasn't quite been served, and I'm quite pessimistic that justice will be served in this case because,
first of all,
for starters, the legal system, the way that it works, I suppose it protects the innocent, i.e., it's so difficult to prove murder, like first-degree murder.
Yeah.
Hence why they had to go for the lesser charges, which were manslaughter and third-degree murder, and I think it was unintentional.
Second-degree unintentional murder.
Unintentional.
I have never heard. I've never heard that charge in my life. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but
that, for starters, is kind of a blow to
the whole case.
It's a blow to the fight for equity, the fight for equality. So regardless of whatever the outcome of the sentence is, he's automatically benefited from the way the law set to protect the wording of the law and everything. So when you first saw the video, you thought, oh yeah, that's it, this guy's going down. And then when you start to look at the optics where the law's concerned, you realize, shit, it's not that simple to convict this guy of first-degree murder.
Nope, they've not even gone for that charge.
They've not even gone for that charge.
Yeah,
had they gone for that charge, it would have probably
thrown out.
If they had gone for murder, first-degree murder, it would have been a not guilty verdict.
Yeah. And then everybody
would be, So it's the fact that the law, you have to kind of bend to the law in order to.
What's the maximum sentence for that?
Okay, let me break this down then, because
sorry, let me just finish. Yeah, so accountability has been, to a certain extent.
Agreed. Yeah. Not as much as people would want. But nevertheless, we are saying that he is guilty, and the law, according to the law, he is guilty of those crimes. Okay.
Where justice is concerned now, that's where it gets a little bit more complicated, because it's now in the hands of the judge.
Thank you.
The jury is the jury. The jury did their part. The jury me and you could have been part of the jury. The judge now, it's up to the judge to deliver justice. And where law's concerned and where judgment's concerned or whatever, every judgment sets a precedence.
Yeah.
For future cases, etc.
They will even use it as example.
They will use it as example, right? So this is where it really counts. This is where it really matters. Him being found guilty, that was the first hurdle, kind of, But will the judge deliver justice? Now,
you're being pessimistic.
What is he facing? 12 and a half years minimum and up to 40 years maximum.
What are the chances he's going to get a maximum sentence? I'm highly pessimistic about him getting anything more than... If he gets more than 20 years, I will be completely surprised, because regardless, I just don't see the American system. I don't see white supremacy reprimanding one of their own in that way. It almost...
If I was Derek's lawyers, I would, go with this scenario, and then I would appeal.
Yeah, but they are going to appeal.
And there is a lot of room for appeal, but we'll get into that in a moment. What do you think, before I go on to the next part, what do you think about the people that will say that you are being negative by saying that, we haven't actually got justice yet? But, in the sense that I've seen a lot of discussions. My Facebook, for example, is literally 50-50. No, it's 50-50. So I've seen some people saying, yes, well done, got there. Yeah. And I've seen some other people saying, yo, bruh, we're not there yet. Yeah. And I've seen people, when people have said that, and I think, rightly so, they're letting you know, in my opinion, they're letting you know that the road ain't over yet. Like, it hasn't been said. And I've seen people underneath them saying, oh, but you're being negative. Like, it's still a win.
I think the kind of people that will come with that are the same people that have, before Black Lives Matter and everything, they're the same people that used to be like, stop talking about race, stop rocking the boat.
You think so?
Yeah, I believe so. They're the kind of people that are content with any, let's not get it twisted. I do not think that the law had their hands tied. If they really want to, they could have given a not guilty verdict and right for a few days and burn down the place. That shit's insured anyway. They're not scared of that.
So you said the mob doesn't have as much power as people are making
out? The mob doesn't have as much power as people are making out.
That's another argument that's come about, saying, well, they had to say...
I honestly do not think America...
gives a damn about the mob.
Gives a damn about the mob. Because they really want to control it. First of all, shit's insured, so that's just collateral damage, right? And in terms of containing that, they can contain that if they want. Let's be real.
Yeah. I disagree on your first point there, because I think for some people they might see it as a win, because I think it's like one of the first times that
in a long time
that police officers actually
just because you see a win doesn't necessarily mean that
no, but you kind of made out that those same people would be the same people that wouldn't want to rock the boat in the first place.
Yeah, because that's what we're clearly doing. We're rocking the boat.
By saying that
you've given us this little bit of justice, but it's not enough. We want more than just, we want the same justice that you guys assume when you convict a
black man. Yeah.
When you convict a black man of a crime and there's barely any evidence. When you convict a black man of a crime because of the joint enterprise law.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They are very clear cut when they present that evidence and convict and give these guys 100 years, 200 years or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
They do though. He's right.
So to say that somebody murdered somebody in front of the world. My son's scared of the police because of that George Floyd thing.
Yeah. It was. Yeah,
I used to. If my son's misbehaving, sometimes I'll say we're going to call the police, and I realize, you know what? Yeah, I'm not even going to do it because he is genuinely, literally traumatized from that situation. Mm-hmm. He recounts that whole George Floyd saying, "I can't breathe" and everything, and it's only 5.
Yeah. Nah, I get that. Okay. So the charges, I'm gonna read them out because I think that people, I'm not saying everyone doesn't understand, but I think people really need to understand that just because he got found guilty doesn't mean that he's getting life, without parole for this scenario. I know you mentioned that he can get him between 10 and 40. I got down that he got 2nd degree unintentional murder, which means that Chauvin caused George Floyd's death while assaulting him, but presumed sentence is somewhere between 10 and 15 years.
Right.
3rd degree murder means that someone caused the death of another by perpetrating acts eminently dangerous to others, which lean on his damn neck. Historically used to prosecute drug dealers who sold drugs into individuals who died as a result. So basically saying, you didn't shoot him and you didn't stab him, but as a result of your carelessness or whatever, you're charging with this, and that's another 10 or 15 years. Yeah. And then you've got 2nd degree manslaughter, meaning that he was negligent and they're all very similar charges, aren't they? And took unreasonable risk. And that again is they reckon somewhere between 10 and 15. My issue with this whole thing is I agree with you. I can't see him getting 40 years or 45 years or anything like that. I think he may get 10. And I think what will happen immediately after is he will appeal. And then at the very least, he'll get those sentences to be run concurrently instead of consecutively.
Right.
That's right, isn't it? Is that way around? Yeah. And that changes everything, because then you can be doing all the charges at the same time, which means you're only doing 10 years. And then with police good behavior, you're really out in 5 and 6. And that, you know what I mean?
That's madness to think.
Precisely. And my issue with that scenario is because of the video, like, the video is so disturbing. You can literally see him and you're literally thinking, bruh, okay, you're going to get up now. You're going to get up now.
Forget I forgot the female officer that went down for a similar thing. There's a female police officer that was convicted.
What was it for?
For a shooting. This was about a couple of years ago.
Which one, man? Because you talking about the one where she went into the wrong flat?
Was it that one? No. Did she? No, she got away with that one. There was a case, I can't remember. I'm sure. There was a case of female officer. She ended up she's doing time. I think she might be doing time, but she got some.
How long did she get?
Less than 10.
Which means she'll be out in less than half of that.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is going to happen. And I think that is very upsetting when you think of...
Yeah. Do you not think they might use Derek as an example?
No. I think even if they do...
Try.
Even if they do, they're going to backtrack.
You've got to realise how police unions work as well. Like, within the police, they have gangs.
Yes.
Right?
That's a fact.
I watched the Martin Scott, whatever his name is. It was called... You must have watched it. I think DiCaprio was in the film. It was it basically kind of gave you the optics of how the police works, how they have a anti-snitching code.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah. That's not the one movie that they do that. Yeah.
So you can be a rat within the police force.
Yeah. Because if you rat on your boys,
exactly,
then you're a rat.
So that also means that there's a gang there's a camaraderie between police officers, regardless of what, because they still. Let's not get this twisted. You're gonna have police officers that are against all this brutality or whatever, but I can guarantee you that the majority of
that's why it's a handful. That's why you don't get so many police officers actually speaking out.
They don't speak about it. Yeah,
even the ethnic police officers.
Yeah, because if you do speak out, you will be outcasted amongst your peers.
And that is also dangerous if you think, especially in America, that is the issue. You know what I mean?
So, to a certain degree, there will have been a collective effort amongst the police to protect Derek.
You think so?
To protect for him, to provide for him. This guy will be getting fan mail.
Oh, he'll be getting funding. Yeah,
they're getting, because there are people that are very much pro.
Yep.
I saw something going around that he might now be on suicide watch.
Yeah. What do you think about the rumor?
So I believe that he's also he's secured a martyr status.
Oh, that's a fact.
Yeah.
Amongst his
peers.
What do you call covert KKK police?
Yeah.
Let's not play blind to the fact that you have secret groups and everything where they discuss killing black people. Let's not play blind to the fact that the KKK has infiltrated the police force.
Yeah, well,
and every other establishment.
I was thinking about this the other day, and I was like, you know what? Yeah. First of all, when you see these videos of police killings, especially in America, it's almost like they come in seasons. Mm-hmm. There's a time when it's completely quiet. You don't hear nothing. And then there's a time where
it must be happening the whole time.
They must be happening. But what I'm saying is...
look at the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's just been hot.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Somebody got shot while the verdict was being delivered.
Yeah.
That to me is
right on April 11th.
I start to think to myself, the officer that shot him, that was a sacrificial lamb. Do you know what I mean? I don't think she made a mistake. I don't think she really...
You talking about the taser gun?
Yeah, the taser gun scenario.
Right, okay.
I believe that, to me, some of these acts are deliberate. Some of these acts are people that have literally... just like how terrorists work.
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you ever seen a taser?
They don't feel nothing like a gun.
It doesn't look or feel
You
nothing.
can't mistake it, and it's bright yellow.
This is what I'm saying. So, and the way it's put, I just don't understand how you can
because you're meant to know which side it's on.
Firearm, not even by the side.
The argument is going to be she panicked.
Oh, come on.
She panicked.
You trained not to panic.
She said, taser, gunshot.
It looked like it was on purpose in my eyes.
Yeah.
Do you know when you're about to...
And it's not like she wasn't when you look at the video, you can see the gun. Do you know what I mean? It's like... So, I just... I think...
So all of us are pessimistic about what the sentencing and then what's going to happen next.
Yeah, I think sentencing-wise, it will be... they will find a way of reasserting their power. Because, again, this is an assault on white supremacy to a certain degree.
What was the settlement? Because they paid the family 27 mil. What was that for? Was that to apologise for what happened?
No, it's technical.
I never understand settlements, so you got to even ask me.
Yeah, because...
It's damages, right?
Yeah, it's damages.
It's just damages. Yeah, because they did something. They have to pay. They have to pay. They have to do something.
So we agree to something, but...
Well, the man has died, and
at the hands of a police officer.
And I can see, I've seen on the arguments about, well, this guy was he was a scum, he was a scumbag, he had a long rap sheet. You know what? Yeah, I think he's been arrested 9 times, and he's got some minor drug charges, and he's got one serious. I think he's got attempted robbery, armed robbery case.
Mm-hmm.
But the scenario in case was a counterfeit $20 note, which could happen technically to anybody. That technically could happen to anybody. Somebody could give you some money, you don't even know it's counterfeit. And then now, all of a sudden, over $20,
you're losing your life.
You're losing your life.
Regardless of...
I think the problem with America is with their gun laws and everything, right? From a policing perspective, I understand the risks involved with being a police officer in America. Mm-hmm. It's very dangerous. Things can go from 0 to 100. Police officers actually do get shot. You just don't hear about it.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
So there's that. There's that blurred line where do people really take the police's sort of... I believe some of these officers have an inherent and irrational fear of black people.
It's not just officers, though, is it? But yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, so there's that. Even though sometimes you find that their white counterparts may be the most dangerous. Case in point, the video where the guy literally
drove off. He's like,
he ain't doing that and whatever. So
you talking about the case where the guy they put him on the ground. And they're trying to...
And he still managed to get off without getting shot.
Getting shot. They didn't even taser him.
So they have a level of tolerance that's sort of...
we're not going to skirt over that. Let's explain what happened here. No, we're not going to do that. So they've tried to get this guy... I don't know what started the scenario, but they tried to get him on the ground to arrest him. A male and a female police officer. They got on top of him, but he's managed to get away. He's managed to pull their baton or whatever, the American version of the baton, and he beat both police officers up with it. And then he's got in the police car and driven off.
But they're so calm with him.
And I'm just like,
stop.
How?
Sir, don't. How is this guy getting so much free pass?
And do you know
George Floyd, you're laying on his neck.
It's not just George. George. It's not about George. It's just about how they view black people.
No, I've actually figured it out. I think it has everything to do with the precedent that is set over the rulings where police brutality cases are concerned. So these police officers know that the consequences of killing a white man are very different to the consequences of killing a black man.
You think this is part of their training curriculum?
No, it's not.
This is what they're going through?
They just know this.
Just culture. It's in the culture.
If you kill a white boy, it's not going to be as clear cut as killing a black boy. If you kill a black boy, it's easy to assassinate the character. You kill a white boy, even if they're wilding, that's when the law will really hold you accountable and deliver justice.
No, but don't you think that's to do with the people seeing themselves in the person?
No, there's that. There's also the fact that these guys are they see a human in a black man at the end of the day. So put color aside, they still see a human being.
Do they?
They still see a father. They still see, because some of these men have killed people in front of their children. So they can't be, well, they are, there is a level of psychopath.
Yeah, because that's another good point. Some of these men and maybe women have actually been killed in front of their children.
Yes.
In front of their children. So the police officer must be able to put himself in the shoes to say, yeah.
No, I think that's half of the issue.
What they don't put.
They do not put themselves, because they don't. Maybe I'm totally off, but I feel that in a lot of those cases they are not putting themselves in the shoe, and some of the more racist officers are not even looking at you as human.
Yeah.
I think that's probably more the issue, which is why, because how naturally in your heart of hearts, if you were going to do some fuckeries or whatever, you're really not trying to do it in front of people's children. They're sat in the back screaming and crying, and you just murdered the dad right in front of them. You can't really have a conscience. You can't really see another human there. I fail to believe that they've seen themselves in that person.
Believe me, they still deal with the psychological consequences of their actions.
I wouldn't know that.
Not necessarily be able to see themselves or see a human in this man then, but somebody even mentioned it to the man that killed George Floyd, to say you will live with
that forever.
Yeah, you will live with that forever.
It does play you psychologically.
Actually say that to them. You can't just kill a person and just sleep it out.
I wouldn't know.
I mean, I have read a book called Psychopathic Racist Personality.
Mm-hmm.
It basically alludes that some of these guys are actually psychopathic.
Mm-hmm. I believe that.
They have a...
Did you see the look in his eye?
Complete lack of empathy.
Yeah.
Did you see the look in his eye?
Yeah. The moral compass is so fucked, because where humans are concerned, somebody even mentioned it, like if George Floyd was a dog, he would have got more justice.
Oh my
100%.
Fucking do that to a dog.
You can't do
that to a dog in America.
You mad.
In England.
Even in England.
But you find that some of these people tend to empathize more with animals more than they empathize with black people.
This is not real, but I was watching an episode of Atlanta, and in one of the latest episodes, the guy's gone down to the gun range. Have you seen what? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't want to.
Right, he's gone down to the gun range, and he's put down there. They've got the you got the human cutouts.
Yeah.
You shoot the human
targets.
cutouts.
Yeah.
So he's got a dog cutout instead.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
The people
this black guy's got a dog cutout and he's shooting at the dog cutout. And then approached him like, no, you can't be doing this kind of foolishness in here. And he's turned around and said to them, well, it's the right for you not to shoot a human. And they're like, no, you're not shooting. They didn't even entertain it. They just said, no,
put a human there.
You cannot shoot dogs in here.
You see, you can't shoot a fake dog in here. That's crazy.
So I think it's a madness.
What
I believe that as long as black people do not start firing back, it's gonna remain the same.
Elaborate, because let's discuss what
police officers will start taking black people seriously when they start losing their own.
You keep saying that.
I've thought this for a long time.
I'm just saying, if a case was to appear where a police officer shot somebody and somebody just crept up on him, put two in his head, and became the martyr, that would set a precedence that would make
this is what's going to happen
twice.
Every time. Yeah.
This is what's going to happen if you keep fucking with us.
Yeah.
But as long as we just fold and cry and say, you shot my baby and whatever, and we cry and protest or whatever, they know that. That's just collateral damage.
It can last a few days.
But if they know that they're losing their own, that's when they're going to really start thinking, okay then, but nobody's ever waged a war against, well, back in the days they did. I can't even, do you know what? Yeah, I'm not even apologetic about saying it, but that is kind of the rhetoric that needs to be out there.
Any other solutions other than?
I'm sorry, that is the only solution that I see. Blood for blood.
I saw a discussion about life insurance.
Okay.
So,
discussion goes around black people are almost like the least likely to have life insurance. If every black person, obviously there's an issue with poverty. I'm not going to ignore that. But if black people took up life insurance more, then those companies would probably get more involved with these scenarios because they wouldn't want to pay out as much. Yeah. So institutionally, that was, that's probably one way of dealing with this scenario. I'm not saying it would work, but to me, on paper, that does make sense. The insurance companies are pissed when they have to pay out in any. You crash your car, they're pissed. So they're trying to do everything they can to not pay out. So if people are dying, they're going to do something about it because they don't want to pay out. That could work. That's the only other thing that I thought of outside of what you thought, because that was me originally. I was like, humans only respect consequences in a lot of times. Yeah. So because they respect consequences, if they know that they may lose their life, then they will think twice. If you know that you're putting your family in danger, you may think twice on all of those scenarios. But this had a different thought.
Okay, so Anton, I was listening to Candice Owens. She made a point that
big old Candice, yeah.
Black people are, to a degree, a violent people.
Carry on.
Go on. I'll let you land.
This is to do with the case of the young girl that was shot yesterday.
Okay, do we know how much we know about that before we jump all the way in?
I've watched the video.
Okay.
The video captures an altercation happening. I understand that the girl must have phoned police because some girls had come to jump her.
Yeah.
When the police arrived,
I saw that part. Yeah.
There was an altercation taking place, and the girl that had called them had a knife, and she became
the aggressor.
Did she get the knife off the person that was attacking her?
No, I believe she had took the knife out to defend herself. Okay. But the problem is, you see,
did they not know which one called her?
It's just like if you shoot somebody that's running after you, you no longer, even if they try to rob you now in a problem if they were running
away from you, you mean? Yeah. Right. Yeah, as soon if you're in an altercation with somebody, as soon as they decide that they want to flee, if you pursue, everything flips round. You become the aggressor in that scenario, and then you can be held accountable.
So there's literally stills of the girl with a knife, and
I've seen it.
It looked like a very dangerous.
It looked like she was about to carve her up.
Exactly. So somebody asked a question. So
this is divided.
Somebody said, "What if she had been shot in the leg?
By the police?"
Okay, yeah.
It's a hard one, isn't it? In that scenario, because I don't know everything, please don't hold me accountable for what I say, but
Can't you pull the video?
Probably.
The video's not that long anyway.
I'll see if I can pull the video. But from what I saw, it looked like she was about to stab the other girl up.
Yeah.
Now, as a police officer, I haven't, at this point, this is probably one of the only times I'll be like, I kind of get it in the sense where I haven't got time to be
deciphering who's who.
No, not deciphering who's who. Deciphering whether it's your leg or your chest. I'm trying to stop this scenario from happening.
How many times did you shoot her? Wasn't it 4 times?
So this is where the issue always comes in.
I believe it was 22 seconds into him getting there.
Where was it?
What? So you got there straight away, and 22 seconds later, you had to join the shoot.
Probably at the shade room.
So this is not the same thing as your George Floyd scenario, because in George Floyd's scenario, he was already detained. This scenario is an active scene.
It's an active scene, isn't it?
It's active confrontation, and it looks like someone's about to be fatally stabbed.
Yeah,
because it's a big knife.
Shooting in Columbus. More body camera footage was released late this afternoon showing the officer shooting a 16-year-old girl accused of trying to stab people with a knife. Here's Will Ewick with the latest.
This never should have happened. She's a loving girl.
The mother of Micaiah Bryant is understandably hurting right now. and desperate for answers.
I don't know all the details about what happened here today, but it needs to stop. Policies and procedures need to be in effect. I'm hurt. I want answers.
16-year-old Micaiah was shot and killed by Columbus police yesterday after officers were dispatched to the area when someone called 911, saying they were being physically threatened. Police released more body camera footage today, showing the scene from different perspectives as an officer approached a driveway with a girl in black swinging a knife. The officer, identified today as Nicholas Reardon and who's been on the force since 2019, shouts for her to get down before firing 4 shots.
Under those circumstances, the officer's actions, once again based on those totality of circumstances, were reasonable.
Kevin Davis, a 39-year law enforcement veteran that now serves as a court-certified use of force expert, says as he analyzes the body camera footage, he sees just cause for the officer to protect the other woman, and that a taser or other method to try and stop the incident may have resulted in the other woman getting killed.
I'd love to say that we could shoot the knife out of her hand or shoot her in the leg, but those things just aren't realistic under these circumstances, situations where the officer is shooting to save a life.
Meanwhile, Columbus Mayor Andrew Ginther spoke out about it today and the need for transparency.
There were a lot of things being said and shared out in the community.
Yeah, so in that scenario...
Remember when I said it wasn't as clear cut?
Yeah, so people have gone mad over that scenario on social media and they said, oh, something else has happened again. This to me is not a good example that you want to put across the police brutality because
do you think it helps?
No, it does not help us whatsoever. Regardless of whether the police did too much in that scenario, it doesn't help the cause because it's so misty.
But some people are zooming on the fact that the girl's 15.
Irrelevant.
Someone called the police. They came to the scene.
She called the police.
It's irrelevant. What do you do if in this country? If someone again tell me if I'm wrong, but as far as I'm aware, if the police get called to, if the police are coming for me and they know I have a knife, they're allowed to call, the special arms people, and get the gun, and because that's what you would do in that scenario when the police officer didn't have very much time to think. Because look at the video, look how quick it is.
22 seconds.
I can't really. He's going to keep his job.
He didn't know who to
No, he tried to save a life. Remember, she's about to, or it looks like she's about to chop up the other girl. And let's be honest, we all know circumstances where people have died from a single knife wound. It's very dangerous. Yeah? So, this doesn't help the cause whatsoever. Not even a little bit. Her age,
do you think it could have de-escalated it without using a firearm?
Someone would have got stabbed.
Or do you think it was literally fight or flight? He had to act.
I can't. This part is dangerous.
You can't run up on somebody with a knife. A gun.
Yeah, but he wasn't. His issue, even running up on her, he wasn't as close to her as she was to the other person. Mm-hmm. So to me,
then he could have shot the other person.
Eh?
Did he?
What?
He could have shot the other person.
How does that help?
By accident?
No, I'm saying the officer that shot the aggressor could have shot the victim, the girl that she was attacking.
Yes, he could have. That would have been worse.
This is what I'm saying.
It's a very messy situation. That's what I mean. That would have been way worse. Because at that point, because you got to remember, we're only seeing footage from when he arrives at the scene. Yeah. So everything that happens prior doesn't even matter right now. I'm not saying it doesn't matter in the long run, but it doesn't matter from the perspective of, from visuals. So now we're seeing this. All we know is he's arrived on the scene. He's seen the scenario. He's told everyone to calm down. Nobody's doing it. Yeah. And now she's launching for the girl.
He just came and he turned up and that's what he saw. He shot the person that was attacking another person.
Now, she was a young girl and it's very unfortunate. It's very, very sad. But at the same time,
unfortunate time.
He's reacting to a scenario. Mm-hmm. He's reacting.
I feel like you found your opinion on this.
Yeah, I have
the podcast.
I have initially because it's one of those is you can't second guess something like that from an armchair. We're sitting very comfortably now. Yeah. So there'll be some people saying, well, what, you should have done this and you should have done that. That's very different. That is very different from when you are in control of the narrative. So your George Floyd scenario, the police officer was in control of the full narrative. Yeah, man's on the floor in handcuffs. You've got handcuffs on. Yeah, you're on the floor, face down. You can't really move. You're not going anywhere. Mm-hmm. In this scenario, this police officer is not in control of this narrative. He's walked into
a fight.
Yeah, no, it's not just a fight, though, is it? It's not a fist fight. Someone's about to get stabbed.
But the only different thing that I would have done differently, I would have shot her 4 times. You'd shoot. She would have stumbled.
I think these machines are they automatic?
I don't know that. It might. I have no idea.
They do tend to
but
shoot.
But then again, the thing about it is,
he still might have gone bam, 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 bam.
That's the thing about a gun, right? People say you shot. It's literally
it's easy. Yeah, it's 4. Yeah, it's easy.
That's it. It's not like stabbing somebody 4 times.
Yeah, because if you stab somebody 4 times,
is it not a pull? It's not a
no.
It doesn't pop.
It's not a shot.
No, and that's the point. If you stab somebody 4 times, that's 4 sets of effort.
So that's why. Is it not 4 sets?
No, it is. No, that's like
right. Remember, in a situation like that, when you fire the first shot with all the commotion that's going on and everything, right? He's not got time to compute.
He doesn't even know if the first one's hit.
If it's hit,
no. He's not waiting to see if it's hit. Remember, he's trying to say if we're right, and he's trying to say the other girl's lie, then he doesn't even want to wait to see.
All right, are we going with the... got to be careful here, Mr. Frederick.
No, we don't have to be careful.
Are we going with the opinion that he actually was trying to save the other girl's life, or was this another use of deadly force where it was preventable? And
it doesn't matter. And the reason why it doesn't matter is because it was a confusing situation.
So you think in a court of law,
he's walking out of court with his job. He might get paid suspension
for a bit.
Yeah, for a bit while they keep him out of, only for his own benefit while they try and keep him out. Yeah, and he will keep his job. Because
probably relocate.
How would you fight it? Let's do the court of law now. What's your argument? What are you going to tell me? I shouldn't have fired 4 times.
That's about.
You're not really going to. Even that's not an argument. Now, poor girl's died, and yeah, if you shot her once, that one time probably, if you got her in the shoulder. But again, we talk about marksmanship. Yeah. And this guy doesn't sound like he was on a marksmanship thing. He sounds like he was on a reaction scenario.
Right.
Yeah. And if he's on a reaction scenario, of course he's running on adrenaline. Mm-hmm. And anybody who's running adrenaline know that things happen very fast.
How you got there?
Yeah, very quickly. So that's a bad scenario for me to kind of put with the whole police brutality with black people. Not to mention if he was trying to save the other black person's life because the other person was also black. What does this have to do with Candice Owens though?
Oh yeah.
Because this
police, what were you saying? Black people are violent.
She said black people are violent, and I'm like, well, everybody's violent.
No, I'm saying black people have a culture of violence.
Elaborate.
Yeah, so do white people, but within our
it's a socio-economic thing more times.
Okay, we're going to talk about that in the next topic.
Okay, we leave it there. Yeah. All right, cool.